Hi, welcome to Messy Missy Creates. This is Melissa. I'm finishing my January journal today, and I cut a couple pages. I wasn't sure if I was going to finish these off camera or, just save it and do it with you. And I did a couple. I cut this one, and I cut it down to 9 inches, so that just cut off. It was a 12 by 12 paper, so it just cut off a 3-inch strip, which I will use in my journal somewhere in there. And then this one, I chose to fold it up either for a pocket, or if you saw me make my December journal, you saw me do some top tucks. And I really enjoyed having those because I could just tuck something up underneath there. It also is a way of distributing the weight or the bulk in the journal, because some of them you have the bulk down here and some of them you have it up, if you alternate. So I really enjoyed that process. Anyway, so I thought I would do the rest with you. This is the January journal so far. If you didn't watch part 1, you can go watch it now. But this is as far as we got. We got the outside cover, which is like a stack of sweaters, which I've been really looking forward to using for January. And mainly because I see January as kind of a blue, you think of blue. I think of blue, blue and white maybe. And so I just did this print on the inside cover. And then I did dig out some more washies. So we'll do that today too. And I'll choose which washi I'm going to put on the center or the inside spine. And I'm going to set that aside for now. Like I said, I went ahead and did these two mainly just so that I'd have them for size. And this one is not directionally, I keep wanting to say directionally challenged because sometimes I am. It doesn't matter which way it's facing, right? So you can just face it, or it can be, it doesn't have an actual top and bottom. Is that what I'm trying to say? I think so. So I just wanted to get a couple of them done where I actually measured them. And then this way I can just sort of do this with you. So this one, if this is on the bottom, I'm going to put this one on the top. And I'm just folding them for now, and I will choose where they go later. I don't think I'm in screen, so I apologize for that. I do have a bone folder for that to help get those, the creases good and tight so that it's, not extra bulky. So this one, the direction matters. And so I think I'm just going to cut this. See, I could fold it like this and it would work on this side, but then this side would be upside down, and you know that already. And so I'm going to bring this one in and just trim it just like I did the other one. So I'm cutting it at 9. And yeah, it's just as simple as that. And then folding it. And of course the papers don't have to be exact. I like them to be close. I'm not, I know in a junk journal it's common to have multiple sizes of papers, but for the purposes of this journal, I'm trying to keep them somewhat even. Not exact, but somewhat. Now the sloths, obviously they hang down, but maybe I can, I always have the option of folding it this way, and then you lose the sloths, but I really don't want to do that. I'm thinking I'm going to fold this one. What happens if I fold the bottom like this? It doesn't matter per se. Well, cutting them is definitely easier, but I did enjoy having my pockets and tucks. You can always go back and add pockets and tucks. And if I fold them this way, the sloths are now on top, which doesn't really matter. Yeah, we're going to go with it. It's okay. They can be adventurous sloths. We'll leave it at that. Maybe the sloths are exercising. Yeah, right? Yeah, exercising sloths. Way to start off the new year. All right. Anyway, it's okay with me. So this one is just like a bokeh print. I'm going to turn it this way so that I have a little bit of the print on both sides. I love this paper, and I might be wishing that I had used another piece of it in this journal as opposed to some of the other choices that I made. Some of them, because I was sort of lacking on, I did not have a lot of wintry paper in my stash. You'll see when I get closer to the bottom, I only had a couple of ones with snowflakes and snowmen and so on and so forth. If you watched the first video, you heard me, talk about that. Now, this right here, if you wanted to keep some of the bulk off your spine, you could cut right here. And I did not worry about that in December, and it did okay. Some of them were a little hard to punch through, but because I alternated my top and bottom, not all my pockets were on the bottom. Some of them were on the top. I think it distributed the bulk a little bit better. So I'm going to go with that. I enjoyed working in that journal. So yeah, so I'm going to do the same thing for January. And I am missing my plain white paper a little bit. So I don't know. I was going to say I'm looking forward to having that back in February. I did not have any this month. I kind of wish I had, because, I didn't have a lot of really good choices for paper for January. They're all fine because a lot of them get covered up. But when I was looking through for January paper, I found many that I could use for February. So, oh, I did not do that even at all, but it's all right. It's down now. So, like, these two papers are thicker. They're more cardstock, not just scrapbook paper. So, I am going to, whichever way I have this one, I'm going to have this one the opposite. And that evens out that bulk in the spine. So this one is the same. I think it's also a little heavier weight. I love this doily. I love the doily. It's not necessarily a January, but it almost looks like it could be snowflakes. But I really love the doilies on here. Trying to decide which way I want it. I'm debating on going up this way. And I'm just using, well, let me use this one. Just using this to kind of get a guide as to where to fold it. Now, if you're not careful, sometimes when you use the last one that you did, like I'm doing now, to measure off the next one, sometimes you can be increasingly getting larger or smaller. So it's probably a good idea to go back and use the same one to measure against, which is not what I did. It's the opposite of what I did. Let's see, looking for that bone folder again. Okay, so, alrighty. How many are we up to now? I think I've got 2 in here. No, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to go back and use, I know this one was the first one that I cut and measured. So I'm going to go back to that one just to make sure that I'm not getting larger or smaller. This one is not directional either. So it is, I can fold it instead of cutting it. And yeah. So how was your New Year? Today is now the 2nd. And I was really hoping to get this done by the 1st, but you know, sometimes you just have plans and life kind of gets in the way. We didn't do anything exciting for the 1st. We had taken a little road trip at the beginning of the weekend. We chose, instead of doing it New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, we chose to do it Friday, like the Friday night before New Year's. And that way we came back Saturday night late. And then that way we had Sunday and Monday. He was off work Monday. So we had Sunday and Monday, and that felt like, you know, a normal weekend, as opposed to having to come right back in town and him to go right back to work. So that really worked out. It did mean that we were just home, not doing much on New Year's Eve, but that's quite all right. We were content doing that. We enjoy each other's company still after all these years, so there is nothing wrong with that. We've never done a lot on New Year's Eve. Occasionally, like I said, we'd go out of town, or my family likes to play games. You probably heard some of that in my Christmas journaling. And let's see, this one I may cut because it matters. The snowmen will be upside down. And we wouldn't want to turn the little snowmen up on their heads, would we? Let's see. Yeah, because they would be upside down. So I'm going to cut these. So there's 2 of these. And again, this was all of the... I do need to make sure I cut it at the top or bottom, not the side. So I'm putting it in the cutter like this, as opposed to, you know, having it like this way. That would have cut off the width, not the top and bottom. And I'll fold them both at the same time. I'm going to cut them at the same time, and I will fold them at the same time, so I can get this cutter off my, or the trimmer off my desk. And there's that. As a matter of fact, let me see if there's any more I'm going to cut. This one may, not this one with the snowflakes. This one doesn't matter. I can do this either way. This one with the snowman, isn't it cute? It's kind of crackly, kind of like crackle paint, you know, that look. So yes, these snowmen would be upside down as well. So I'm going to trim this, which is fine. We were starting to get a little bulky. But again, most of the paper I'm using is thinner. It's actual paper, not cardstock. So it will be just fine. But anyway, did you have anything fun over the weekend that you did? We finally, if you watched any of my December journaling, I talked about my friend that took in a couple of foster kids about a month or 2 ago. And so, and she has 1 child as well. And my husband and I usually do an angel tree child for Christmas. And so instead of that, we, you know, we knew one in person, not just got a name off of a tree. So we got them all 3 kids. We got them all bikes. And we had planned to give them to them on Christmas, obviously. And it, you know, so that it would be from Santa. But they were all pretty sick for Christmas, so that got pushed back. And so we just got to give them to them yesterday. So that's what we did on New Year's Day. And we watched football. So, but New Year's Eve, we just kind of hung around the house. We had I mean, I cleaned up a little bit from Christmas week, and he did some things outside. What did he do? He built something. Oh, no. He fixed my car. That's what we did on New Year's Eve. My car had broken down the week before Christmas, and he got it fixed enough that I could get home from where I was. But, anyway, we, oh, I'm looking for, anyway, it was just a temporary fix, so, he got that fixed, and so that took the majority of the day, and, anyway, oh, here they are. Okay, there is 2 of them right here. So, in addition to these papers, this is the paper that I had been using in my journal every month, and until December, I ran out, and I couldn't get it in time to do my journal, so I like this paper. It's Pen and Gear sketch paper from Walmart. It's pretty reasonable, and most of my markers do well in it. They don't bleed, except for my alcohol markers and Sharpies, of course. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. My goal is 16 because we have 31 days, and 16 multiplied by 2. Because you get 2, you know, you can use the front and the back. You get 2 per actual paper, or 2 pages per sheet of paper. So 16 gives me 32. And I held 1 back just in case I need it to tuck in to do my calendar. I did not do the calendar in December. If you are new here, which I know we have a lot of new people, and I want to say welcome. And I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm grateful for everyone who has supported me since the beginning too. But there was going to be a point to that. What was the point? Oh, you might not have seen, if you're new, you might not have seen me do the collage calendar, or what I used to call the sticker calendar. I had gotten that idea from Allison at AJ's Inspired Life, as well as Lydia at February and June. And you can see I inched up. This one is bigger than the other papers, so I may have to trim that one and that one as well. We'll see what sticks up out of the journal. But anyway, so I did not do that for December. I had not let me try that again. I had not journaled for November. Yeah, I think just that one. You can see it sticking up a little bit. I might trim it, but let me get these kind of in the way that I want them. But anyway, you might not have seen the sticker calendar or the collage calendar. So if you, let's see, I can try to refold this or just trim it, but I think I'm just gonna, if I refold it, it gives me almost like a little gusset, just in case I wanted to make it like a thicker, I want to put in a lot of things for that day in this pocket. What I may do is make this my first page. Oop. And that way, because it's also thicker paper, and that way it will be my front cover. That way if I have, you know, some extra stuff I want to put in there, I can. So that's better. Now just that one sticks up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to stick up past my journal. So I'm just going to kind of alternate. I have 2 plain sheets, and let's see, so this would be the first. Now it actually frosted here this morning. It was below freezing, which is the first time we've actually gotten below freezing. So let me, you know what? I think I'm going to use, let me use the, no, it won't matter. I was going to say, I'm not real thrilled with the red on here. It's still reminding me of Christmas, and I was thinking I'd go ahead and get that one out of the way. But I'm going to have it back here too. So It's still going to be part of the latter part of the month. So it really doesn't matter. Let's see. Now, both of these are... Yeah, so I can do this, right? And that's distributing the top and bottom tucks and pockets. And then if I do this one, that kind of matches that paper. And that's really all I'm going for. I could do this one next. That matches. I'm obviously going to have something in here that doesn't match. And I'm not looking at like my days or anything like that. Let's do a plain sheet. And then I can start over with whatever else. And it won't matter, right? So if I want to do, let's use one of these because I haven't yet. So that the last pocket was up top. So I'm going to make this one on the bottom, although this is much thinner paper. And let's use the slots. Did I fold that? I did fold that one. That's right. Uh-oh. So that means, that's okay. They're still cute. Even if we flip this one, that means these are like hanging on top. And then these are hanging down. I don't care. I think it's still cute. And we'll use this one that says Far From Basic. Because, you know, they're far from basic, right? I don't know why else I would need paper that says Far From Basic, but you just never know. That one doesn't have a pocket, so let's use one that does. Haven't used the Boca one yet. Haven't used, oh, I haven't used any of these snowmen right here. So let's do that. And then I can use this black and white sprinkle. And it won't matter. Yeah, okay. So on the, I'm kind of talking to myself. I'm sorry. I'm alternating the pockets still. And which one do we want next? We have snowmen. We have plain white. We have believing in unicorns is happiness is believing in unicorns. That goes okay with that. I'm going to use one of them that has pockets. So either this one or this one. So I think I'm going to do this. And then I can do this snowman. There's no pocket on this one. Yeah, that'll look good together. And then I'm going to, yeah. I'll use this snowman again, and then I'll use this plain white. So on these pages, I'm going to have a couple of them that are just all plain white, which is fine with me. I'll go back to doing some of my backgrounds. Where did I leave off? Top or bottom? Bottom. So this Boca one, I wanted it to be my center. And if I'm sticking with the alternating, that means that goes on top. But I almost want this, since it's going to be in the middle, I almost want this on the bottom. Let me see what that does to my bulk here. I'm not worried about these sticking out because when you only do one signature and it's this thick, your inside pages are going to stick out further. And I'm okay with that. That's why I leave a little bit of extra. That's why I do like 6 1/4 or 6 1/2 for my cover. There's a little bit sticks out, but honestly, I don't care. I like that. So, and I just realized that we have a lot of shadows in here in this video. I am so sorry. I hope that it's bright enough. I have a window to my side, which is where the sun is coming in. It's in the morning, so. All right, so let's look at what we have. So we have this. I wanted this here because it matches this. And I was contemplating doing a pocket out of this navy blue. I'm not sure if I will at this point or not. So this will be day 1, which is January 1. January 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is the center, right? Because we had 16 pages. 17, that's pretty. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, that's pretty. 30, 31. So this one is my last page. So I have exactly 31 usable journaling pages. And then I think this is where I'm going to tuck in, not with that piece of paper, hold on. This one that I saved out. These are all 9 by 6. Well, they're 9 by 12, which makes them 9 by 6 when you fold them. So this one I think is going to be one that I tuck in and use it as my calendar. So that actually is going to give me an extra day if I want it. I did not allot for my prompt days because dealing with scrapbook paper, it's much thicker, so I can't really add 4 extra pages in like I had been. So I will either incorporate those into my journal pages, or I'll tip in another, just like a regular piece of paper, like copy paper or something like that for those days. So this is what the journal is going to look like. So now we get to bind it in. They're all folded pretty well. Nothing really sticks out the top except maybe that one. But I'm going to, yeah, if I justify it down to the bottom, isn't that what that's called? Instead of centering them, I like to have them all even at the bottom. And you can take a ruler, and let me get my big pins, my jumbo safety pins here. And I want to tuck this in as much as I can. There we go. If you kind of take that ruler and beat it down in that crease, it gets it as close to, pardon my reach here, gets it as close to the spine as you can. And then that's where we'll poke the holes right there. And then hopefully, with any kind of luck or skill, or both, the holes will go through evenly. Now, if you open it flat or fold it, it will move the paper some, so don't be alarmed by that. Oh, speaking of folding it, I never did find the blue. I had a little baggie of blue embroidery thread, and I seem to have totally misplaced it, so that's okay, because I found this, and I was leaning towards a gray anyway. These are more of a, this is more of a cream or taupe. This is almost a, it's kind of a greenish gray, but it's got like some tan in it, brown maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it goes well with this sweater color right here, and I really wish, let's see, can you see that? I know that those shadows are really bad. I'm so sorry. As opposed to, like, this is more of a blue-gray. And it doesn't look bad either, at least in this light. But I think I like this one. So that's what I'm going to use. I need my pokey tool. Uh-oh, I thought I had everything. You know what? I don't have my pokey tool in here. Darn it. I might have to use this ginormous awl. I was using my pokey tool in making candles. That's why. Okay, I thought I had everything. I do not. I'm going to see what this does. If not, I'll have to pause the video and then come back. This just pokes a much larger hole than I really want. I do have a guide. I don't use it all the time, but I took a piece of paper that was the same height as the paper, not the journal cover, and I folded it in half lengthwise, and then I folded it in half this way, which gives me my center point, and I folded it again, which gives me my other 2 points. So this is a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. As soon as I can get it open. So what I can do is mark, like with a pencil, where my holes are roughly, because it's not exactly the same size, but it's good enough for me. They will be relatively proportional. And then I need to remember which is the top and which is the bottom. Okay, so this is the bottom with the pocket. And here we go. We're gonna see if we can poke a hole with this awl. So see, when I kind of close it, the point of the papers, the spine kind of meets the center of the spine. And so I'm gonna have it closed partially while I poke my hole, I hope. Okay, we don't need a huge hole. See how big of a hole it made in the paper on the inside? And just make sure that your fingers are out of the way when you're poking through. I do not like the size of the hole this puts in here, but we're gonna run with it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there. Oh, that one's not straight at all, but that's okay. I'm not poking another hole with this. Those are too big. So my threads on my outside, that first one will be a little off center, but it's a journal, right? It's handmade and it's not meant to be perfect. If I was making this for somebody else, I would be a little more concerned about it. But I'm just making it for myself. I love this little needle holder. It came from Yarnology. I think that would be, almost said Home Depot. Hobby Lobby. Yeah, just like it, yeah. Not as if they are even close to the same thing, but they're both big stores. Let's see, I was gonna try to find the end without, I make such a mess with these things. I was gonna try to find the end without taking this one all the way off. I do not appear to be having much luck with that, so okay, off it goes. Maybe. Okay. There is an end. Yep, I am making knots. All right, so I'm gonna do 3 times the height, roughly. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just cutting. That leaves lots of yarn if you want to make a dangle. But it also just makes sure, because the last thing you want to do is cut it too short. And hopefully I can thread this big eye of this needle without having to get my, my thing out. Sometimes I will take and divide this, because, you know, embroidery thread has like, what, 4 or 5, I think, different threads with it. And let's see, I want to start on the outside because I want my strings to be on the outside. So wherever you start is where your strings are going to hang. And hopefully I did not move this book around so much, I did, that my holes are not in line with each other again. We might be poking new holes. This tape, between the tape and the cardstock, let's see, I might have to start from the center just to make sure I have them lined up again. it is easier to start from the center. Okay, so I moved them around, apparently, too much. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, I got them lined up. So now I'm going to see if it'll let me start from the outside without moving all the papers again. If not, I'm just going to have my strings on the inside. Nope, here we go. See, if you don't get it right the first time, just keep trying. Okay, now I've put a clip right here. It's not going to keep me from pulling it through, but I'll feel the resistance on it. So I'll go, oh yeah, don't pull it all the way through. Right? And then I'm just kind of tapping to make sure that all my pages are in line again. Yep, I fell right into that hole. Normally that's not a good thing, but on here it is. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. And, well, I'm struggling just getting it in that hole. And see if we can get, yeah, I think every once in a while I do poke my finger and end up bleeding. I try not to use too sharp of a needle because, well, for one, to protect your fingers, and two, because you don't really need it that sharp. You're not trying to poke a new hole. If you have a really sharp needle, you will end up poking new holes rather than going through existing holes. Okay, so I split that thread, and I don't want to do that. Try that again. You want to get in the same hole, and you want to come up on, nope, not right there. You want to come up on this side of this thread and not split that thread. So it's not that difficult. See, there we go. I was making it harder than it was. And here we go. So I'm going to take my clips off, take my needle off. Once I know that I have all three holes threaded, I take off all my clips because that allows me to get them kind of all together, if that makes sense. I don't want to hold them in place with the clips anymore because I want them to kind of find their own center, if that makes any sense. I know it doesn't. But anyway, so you just do this and you just tie a couple knots. Now my strings are not even, which I can fix that here. Let's see, figure out which one pulls the longer side. And okay, see, I did split one thread. All right, that won't hurt anything. I'm glad I didn't split up divide up the threads though, because if I only had two threads, that would have mattered. So I've got one knot. I'm not an official knot tire, but I haven't had one come loose yet. So I just keep tying until I feel like it's good and secure. Usually I do, two actual knots. There we go. And you can leave them long and hang something from them, or you can tie them. Like, I'll tie them in a bow. They never stay, and I always say I'm going to come back and add something to them, and I never do. So if you want to keep the bow, you can double knot the bow if you want. Here we go. That wasn't that difficult, was it? So we have this, and everything is in its place as it should be. Just like we planned. Nothing sticking out any of the sides. Everything's aligned at the bottom. And ta-da, we have a journal. And we still have shadows in the camera. And again, I apologize. I have the blind shut on that window over there, but it's still casting weird shadows. So I'm going to put up my needle. And that needle is big enough and sharp enough. I probably could have just poked it through without making separate holes. but I did not, so it's all good, right? All right, I don't need that anymore. I don't need that anymore. Putting up all of my stuff. And this is what we're left with. We have some, you know, just some extras that we can use in here or use for something else. They're not, they'll make pockets on ones that, like when where we didn't leave pockets. They're obviously the same width. So like on this one, if I wanted a pocket, I could do one, or I could, you know, glue it here and here, and then maybe in the center, and I could have a pocket. You know all that already. What else? Oh, I was gonna look through. This was my Christmas washi, and this, and this, and this. I had one New Year's washi. I'm gonna do kind of the, not the switcheroo, but I'm gonna just kind of pull out anything that will still work for January. Like these. I don't want Christmas trees. I don't need ho ho ho. This Stay Warm is fine. And this one has, no, nope, that's presents, nope. And I think that's it out of this stash, but that's okay. It gets us started, right? And this one says New Year, New Year, New You. So I like that. It's black with confetti. It will go well on the black confetti pages, and it'll go well on this bokeh page. It's probably not what I want. I'm looking for one to put here. So I think I'm probably going to use something in the blue family. I do have my tray of washi. I've got this black confetti that matches that paper. It's probably from the same maker too. And I just have some blues. What is this one? It's just kind of, oh, Kiss Me at Midnight. Well, I can use that for, well, that would be New Year's Eve, wouldn't it? And always use donuts. I'm not going to do this in this video necessarily. I had started organizing my washi. I have not finished, obviously, because I still have this pile. And I was just looking to see if I find something that I like. Happy, yay. I still do not have a good birthday washi. Next month, I'll be pulling out all my Valentine washi. Okay, this is a good winter washi. And this one. And this one is just paper clips, so it's always good. That's Easter and Cats. This is just black and red. I think I mainly use that at Valentine. I like the black polka dots. I'm not trying to do all of this just yet. I was just trying to find one that I would want to put. Love this. Wild and Free. I don't, the glitter, let's see. Did I see anything in here I want to know? Not really. It's not all blue because we have other things, you know, other than blue. So I've got like this teal or this aqua one with snowflakes, and this one that has some aqua and red and green in it. I'm thinking this one with the mittens wins, even though it's not as wide as I want. It's the only like dark blue that I have, other than something with, this has flowers and butterflies, so I don't want that. I don't really think that I want, this one actually might work. This is kind of like a holographic. Is that what I'm looking for here? Not really. And it's no wider than the blue with the mittens, so I'm thinking the blue with the mittens is winning. I'm not a real big glitter washi person. I have it and I use it occasionally, but it doesn't tend to stick as well. And I didn't really plan on gluing it. I can run a bead of glue, but I'm thinking this one wins because I like the color. The blue matches enough. Yeah, it's okay. It's not ideal, but you know, you use what you have, right? And then I can put it back here as well. If I find something later that I really like, I can always put over it. This one, there we go. Just to kind of give that a little bit of separation, or it hides some of the cardboard from the, you know, from the spine. And I may have to go back and add a little bit of glue, but I like that. It's good enough right now. Let me put those up. I'm not done with my December journal, so I'm not changing out. I'm not putting away my Christmas washi yet until I finish that. But anyway, so this is what we have. That adds a little bit of color. I was thinking about putting, I liked when I showed you my January journal from last year. Let me see, I've got it right here if I can not cause an avalanche. I had a side pocket, and I was telling you that I really liked that. And so I may do that again. Got a lot of different blues. These two match really well. I don't know if you can see that in camera. This is a pure navy blue. Let me see. I had another one that was kind of like a dark bluish gray. I was facing away from the camera. Sorry about that. I had it. Ooh, that might work. That might look better. It's not as, it's just paper. It's not cardstock. I just had that one that was kind of a bluish gray, and I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, let's see. That's not going to work. Maybe if I'm going to try this navy. How do you lose a piece of paper that fast? Well, I'll tell you how. When your room is a hot mess, you tend to lose a lot of things. So I do not do resolutions necessarily, but I do need to get my craft room cleaned out. Maybe just kind of, I'm not going to take everything out of it, but sometimes if I just take everything that's in my way out, thinking 3 inches is enough, right? I think it will be fine. And then I will cut it down to 9. Or I think 9 1/4 is what my journal actually is. The height of it is about 9 1/4. There we go. And let's see, how did we do? Almost perfect. Perfect enough. What do we think? And then I've got a little hole punch. I can, I've got a small one and a big one, and I'm thinking I want the big one. I'm not measuring. I probably should, but it's not that important that it be totally centered. It just helps you to see that there's things in there. So I'm going to get my, well, going to pick all the dried glue boogers off of it and run just a tiny bead of glue here. Oop. Well, I look like I'm Look like I've had a little bit too much to drink. And drinking and gluing? No, not really, but that's what it looked like. Alright, so I've got it kind of lined up. I try not to move it too much because then your glue spreads. But what I do try to do is pinch it right here so that it buckles here and you have a little bit more room to put stuff. I mean, if you do it too much, it makes the pocket too loose and all your stuff falls out. So there's a happy medium in there somewhere. Okay, now I'm not real fond of all of these blues right here. So I could come back and cut this one down and put it on top if I really wanted that. But that's a lot of pattern too. So I'm just going to leave it and we're going to call it good. If I find something else that really makes my eye happy, then I can put it on here, or I can decorate it, take some of that, tone down some of that really dark blue here. But again, it's a journal, right? I love the cover. I absolutely love this cover. It just makes me feel all snuggly, you know, snuggly and warm. Although I'm hot right now. It was 31 last night here. I'm in Florida, by the way, if any of you are new and you didn't know that. I'm in the northern part of Florida, not the southern part. So we do get below freezing here. Sometime in the mid-20s, but mostly it just, you know, for the most part, it'll drop below freezing, and then by 8 or 9 in the morning, it's back up to like 35 or 40. So, but I think our high today is going to be 50, I think. So, and the sun's out, so it's feeling rather warm, but I like it. I think we did a good job, and I do mean we, of pairing the papers together so that they kind of match. I really like that combination. And I've got some plain white, and I thought that combination looked really well, or went really well together. That one went really well together. That one maybe not as much. That might be my least favorite, but you got to have one, right? So there it is. Well, I guess you got to have two in a journal because you're going to have two of them. But it's not bad. That little aqua blue in there kind of matches that. I'll tone down the red. We'll just put a bunch of pictures or something like that on here. Anyway, this is January 2024's journal. And I have talked until I have run us out of time. And I know that you have better things to do. And I want to start journaling. So, I think I'm going to call this one good. Did I do everything right? I had glued this on. It was already sticking, so I went ahead and glued it on after the last video. And what else? Is there anything else? Did I forget anything? Oh, here are I'll show you these again really quick, because this is what I'm going to be using in my journal. These are my days of the week. And it's just like I've already shown you these. It's like a blue and white and aqua kind of background. I have a variety now on my Etsy channel, Etsy shop. And so I have a variety of colors that I've done. I have not done February yet. Someone asked me that yesterday. And I will be doing those for February. But I've got a variety of colors if you're one that likes to mix and match. You know. Yeah. So as it turns out, I've got this January in this blue, which I may not put on that because it doesn't end up matching the paper that I used. It does, however, kind of match this. So I may do that in 2024. I'm just not sure. A lot of times I don't like to put anything on the cover just because I've picked out paper that I like. And so I don't really want to cover it up all that much. So sometimes I will decorate the, you know, this inside cover. So we will see. And obviously this will be New Year's Day. So I'm going to cut this out and put this on there. And my one, and as far as I know, I'm going to use this throughout the journal. I might mix and match because I have such a variety of colors of paper. So anyway, if you have bought from me before, you should have gotten an email or a message from me that gives you a returning customer code for 10% off. So feel free to use that if you've bought from me before. They just automatically emails you the code. So once you buy something, you have that code and you can use it on your second and third purchases. So, or however many you use. But anyway, all right, I'm just yammering at this point, and I'm going to start cutting these out. Not with you. I'm not going to bore you with that. But I do kind of wish I had made them a little bit darker. Just as it turns out what my journal looks like. But they have a variety of colors in them, so it should match well enough. This is like all the aquas and, you know, that sort of thing. But anyway, all right, well, I will see you in the next video. I will come back. I still have to finish the end of December, but I wanted to go ahead and get this January journal out to you and first, because otherwise it would have been like the 4th or 5th before I made my journal, and I didn't want to do that because I don't want to start off behind. And so I went ahead and did that. I skipped the end of December, so I may bring you back in a video for that. And I will, whichever one comes next, I will see you in that video, hopefully. It's great having you here, and I hope you're enjoying the videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.